Hello, welcome to my day 6 and of traveling across the country, leaving my home or where I lived to Victoria, to Vancouver Island. Well, not really Victoria, but Vancouver Island. I don't know where I'm gonna live yet. It's been a strong day of processing. I feel like I've moved through so many, feels like I've lived a whole lifetime just today. Like, I'm in a bit of like shock from just the massive processes that each day is. I woke up at my last campground before coming onto the island and felt pretty good. It rained and it was a really cold night again. And a bunch of my stuff got wet, so I get to take care of that, which I'm really blessed that I got to land tonight, kind of somewhat spontaneously in a little condo that this recent friend of mine that I just met through Facebook not long ago was kind enough to let me land here, as this is her and her partner's Airbnb, and it's empty at the moment, so just feeling really grateful to have this place to just land for a few nights before venturing on around the island and feeling things out and looking at some rentals, and I don't know, just take it day by day. The processes are really, really big today. I had my biggest breakthrough, cry, whatever you want to call it. The moment, I was moving through so much joy and a lot of lightness and joy throughout the day as I was driving through the mountains through BC before I left the mainland. And then, as I was on the ferry, because the ferry's over 3 hours long, as I was on the ferry, crossing over to the island, I was just so much was hitting, and I was feeling so much, and just sitting in the wind at the top outside, and I was just in meditation, just feeling and just meditating and just being oh my gosh. And it was just the energy was just building up in my heart, and the moment I got off the ferry and drove onto the land, this song has been playing. It's called Waves, and it's been playing in my mind, it just keeps playing inside my head my whole trip. And the line that keeps playing is, I'm not afraid to feel the waves on my way home. And so I finally just played it because I was just feeling so much, and it was just playing over and over again in my head when I first landed on the island, and I was feeling so much, and I played this song, and I just started scream crying, oh my God, such big releases, and so many emotions all at once that it's you can't even really decipher them. It was I could feel some of it was grief of leaving, and then some of it was so much gratitude of being here, of finally being back on these lands, and then also so much overwhelm and fear of what the fuck did I do, and also of releasing of everything that I'm purging of my past, of people, places, all of these energies that have been so intensely purging from my field as I've been on my way here. And then grieving aspects of me or versions of me that were really feeling light and centered and really good, months ago before I left. but the last couple of months, even back home, back in Ontario, because this is home now. Back in Ontario, the last few months have been really intense. You know, I had really beautiful moments of bliss while I was on my juice fast, and before that I was doing really good, like so clear and doing my thing and feeling so good and connected to nature. And so I've just been like, as I've been driving and I'm like looking in the mirror and I'm just like not recognizing myself and feeling what's moving through me and feeling like brand new, like, you know, all the confidence I built up in walking this path with just faith, you know, with not knowing where I'm going, but just trusting and receiving the guidance and following the guidance day to day. You know, I built that up. I built that muscle well in the regions that I knew. You know, I got to know new people and meet new people, and I had community and support systems, and I had people, you know. And, you know, I was comfortable with the land there. Also, there's no animals that want to kill you there. Not that there's animals that want to kill you here. The most part, animals don't want to be bothered by humans and want to leave, you know, they just want to be left alone and do their thing. But, you know, there was no cougars and grizzly bears. You know, there's black bears, but black bears don't care about humans, and black bears don't attack humans. So yeah, like I'm so comfortable in the nature there. I just go and, you know, walk in any direction and get lost in the woods and lose myself in nature and just like, you know, cry and dance and sing and lie in the earth and camp and, you know, and then getting here, I feel this like distance between me and the nature, and it's like so beautiful. Like the nature here is like mind-boggling beautiful. Like it's literally enough to make you weep. Like I can't even handle how it makes me feel. But then I can feel this space because I'm feeling all this fear inside of me to like go into it. You know, I'm seeing these woods and these massive trees with moss covered, and they just look like, these forests look like they're like fairy forests, like mystical forests, and where it's like untouched and there's not like public trails and stuff, and I want to go, like, you know, my being is like, oof, I can't wait to go into those forests. And there's a part of me like, oh, there's bears and cougars and, you know, danger. And then, you know, there's like sadness that washes over me because I'm like, but, you know, Ontario, I could go anywhere in the woods, and I always knew I was safe, that there was nothing there that I had to even think about. And the thought of that really makes me sad. But, you know, then I saw a video today on Facebook of this little girl, and she grew up in Africa. She was raised in Africa by like photographers, and she grew up with the lions and all of these like predators, right? And she was like touching them and playing with them since she was a kid, and they were all friendly with her. And what she said was, when she was little, even when she was still a kid, she said something about, I speak to the animals with my heart and my mind, and I hear them answer me. She had this deep communion with nature, and I know that is true. I know that is, you know, we do have this ability to have this deep connection with nature, and nature is not looking to hurt us. None of these animals are like out to get us. You know, a lot of people are afraid of the forests in Ontario, and I'm like, what? There's nothing to be afraid of in the forests in Ontario, but they're like wolves and stuff like that. I'm like, they don't care about us. You know, if you're in the middle of the night out in the woods in the winter and, you know, there's a lot of howling, yeah, you don't really want to go out in the woods alone, because yeah, they will, yeah, they might try to get you. But, you know, you just be smart about it. You know, in the daylight, you're fine. Wolves aren't, yeah. So, yeah, there's a few things you just need to know, but for the most part, you don't need to think about anything. But there's still people that are afraid of the woods in Ontario. And, you know, I feel like people that live here are like, you don't need to worry about anything. But, you know, part of it is just getting used to that and knowing how to, like, work with the energy of bears when I come across bears and freaking cougars, man. Like, and then the ocean, you know, I love the ocean. And then, like, the sharks and stuff. And I'm just like, my childhood nightmares that were repetitive were always getting eaten by bears or cougars. Bears and cougars were always in my dreams growing up, and they weren't even in the area. They weren't even ever a thing in my reality growing up, and yet, you know, they were all in my repetitive nightmares. And now I'm like here, and there's bears and cougars, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm having to face like some deep-seated fears or something with, yeah, my fear of nature, I guess. You know, I didn't think I had a fear of nature, but I'm like, okay, I clearly do. Bears, it's nature. They're nature. So, yeah, that's going to be something, because it's like normally I go, when I'm feeling a lot and I'm overwhelmed, I run to the forest to feel held. And, yeah, so there's that to process, like that to like slowly ease into feeling safe in the woods again. And yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyways, yeah, so driving on to the island, as I was having this big release, it was just like, again, it just felt like homecoming. And it wasn't like what I thought it would feel like. It was just like this sigh, this groundedness in the body, just that sigh of relief, as if like you just walked in your home. You know, you just walked in your door after a long day of work kind of feeling. So I had that, but then the immense overwhelm of like, okay, now I need to find a place, you know, a place to actually stay. I'm like, I know that there's nothing to figure out. I do know this in my heart, in my soul, in my center. I know that everything's working out, and I just have to take one step at a time, and we're always supported and guided, and everything's just, you know, I didn't know I was staying here tonight, and now I'm here, you know. I didn't know even, you know, every day I don't know what to expect. And I've been living like this for, you know, 3 years. So this is a little bit more intense, and definitely the biggest leap of faith I think I've ever taken. This feels much bigger than, you know, Costa Rica. This feels much bigger than, they're all different, but like, yeah, I didn't have a plan with any of the other places I've gone either, but I don't know anybody here. And yeah, I don't have a plan. I mean, I do know that one new friend that I met on Facebook that I'm staying in her place. So I know one person, and I haven't met her in person yet. But that definitely brings some comfort and peace to me, knowing that there's someone on the island that I can call, I can text, I know that exists, I can go meet up with. Yeah, I'm just feeling a lot. Really looking forward to resting, letting my body catch up to what it's just been through over the last 6 days. 6 days. I can't believe what I've moved through in 6 days. My little body I love her so much. I'm so grateful. The energy she's held, energies she's moved. Anyways, and I'm really grateful to like have a space to like dance properly, move my body properly, and do my morning practice a little bit better than in my tiny little tent in the rain. And play my guitar and restring it, because I haven't played guitar since leaving, and I've wanted to, but in the little campgrounds at night, it's like everybody is around, and it's like I can't really explore with my voice and just express what's inside. And you know, sometimes when I'm exploring with my voice and expressing what's inside, cause like my music is just channeled, I just start playing, and then whatever comes out. And sometimes I'm playing and then I just start scream crying because it's part of my process. So I'm like afraid to play my music, because I'm like, oh my god, I know there's so much in here inside right now that if I play guitar, like I can't even, because if I start, I don't want to start something that I can't finish. I don't want to start playing and then have this stuff come up and not be able to like cry. It's not be able to speak and sing to the octave, to the loudness that I want to express, that needs to be expressed with the energy that's moving through. Like I don't want to stifle my expression, so I just didn't touch it at all. And plus I was exhausted every night, you know, getting to my campsite at 7:30, 8 o'clock every night after like 11 hours of driving roughly or more a day, and I just didn't have it in me anyways. Wasn't much energy left at the end of the day to do much more than have a little freak out and then pass out. Anyways, so I'm in, you can't see it, but you know, I'll do a little video and pictures tomorrow, but I'm in the mountains again. I was down into the valley and now back up in the mountains at this place. It's chilly up here. And there's like nobody, because it's off season and it's like the ski slopes. There's nobody here, so it's like a ghost town, and it's really weird because there's like hundreds of condos and apartments, and there's like 4 cars scattered along them. Like there's like nobody here. And then I'm walking down the halls in these condo hallways, and like it's dead. I'm like completely alone. So it's a strange feeling, a little eerie. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go take a bath and start my practice and unboggle my mind. But that is my day 6 share, and officially landed in Victoria. That was supposed to be a peace sign, but didn't really look like it. Anyways, and then my next stop hopefully is Tofino, to drive that route and go back to Tofino, as 5 years ago, in like a month from now. See this little ring with the wave on it? The top one, not the bottom one. 5 years ago, as of July, I went to Tofino with my cousin when I was still working my career that I left. And, you know, I fell in love with the island when I came on here, especially with Tofino. You know, when I drove on to Tofino, I like drove through those woods and the big trees and the forests. I was like, I need to move here. I need to live here. And when I got back, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And, you know, when I bought this ring at the shop in Tofino, I was like, one day I'm going to be back. And, you know, I never even really thought about those words. You know, when I got back to work, got back home and I got back to work, I looked into moving to Tofino. And, you know, back then it was like, it wasn't really an option. You know, I had a career and I didn't know other way of making money. And, you know, I was a different person. It just wasn't a thing back then. And I dropped it and I let it go. And, you know, BC's never stopped being on my heart. And I've always felt it, like this little tug, especially the last couple of years. It's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. And every year I think it's time. But anyways, so, you know, I keep looking at this ring on my finger and I'm just like blown away at life. I'm just like, this ring's been on my finger for 5 years. I never thought that, you know, I'm just blown away that I'm actually here on the island again. To just see all the different layers and all the different, you know, when you look back and you're like, whoa, everything was always so divinely like orchestrated, the way that like I didn't even know Tofino existed. I didn't even know, you know. And then my coworker was like, yo, you should go to Tofino. And I was like, oh, cool, let me check what Tofino looks like. And I was just like, okay, that's where I'm gonna go for my vacation. And then I fell in love with it. And then, you know, one of my friends like always just, he lived on the island for a while and he just talked about the island to me all the time, like wanted me to go out there and was just like, go come here, and was just like, yo, the island, the island, the island. Like he was in love with it. And so it was like, it was just cool. It's just so insane. Like it just humbles me to like look back and see all the like intricate interweavings, the perfection of life, and how we're always guided and supported, that every tiny little detail of our lives is divinely orchestrated. There's no mistakes, that you can't fuck it up. You know, it's like you're at the stop sign and you're like, ooh, should I go left or should I go right? And your intuition's like, go right. And you go left. And you're like, I'm going to go left anyway. You go left, and then it's just like a detour. This brings you back around. I mean, it's just a different experience. You can't fuck it up. So, yeah, I'm just in awe, just processing the beauty of life, processing the heartbreak, the grief, the joy, the doubt, all of the things. There's so many things, but I'm here for it, and it's calling me up in big ways and invoking me to step up big time. It's shining light on all my fears, my shadows. Calling me up, like big time. And like, there's so many moments that so far that's just been like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I mean, I guess I am if I'm here, but you know, there's been like so many thoughts of like, you could just go back home. And I'm like, I know there's no way back, but those are some of the processes that I'm having, because it just feels so big. And I'm like, do I have what it takes for the bigness of this level? Like, I can feel it. I can't even put it into words how big of a level up or how big of a call up I feel that is placed upon me right now. How big of a shedding that is in transition that is happening, how big of a death and rebirth this is. And I just get to let it play out day by day, moment by moment, and do my very best. And that's all I can really do. Throw myself into it wholeheartedly and see what happens. Anyways, that is my day 6 arrival onto Vancouver Island update. I promise some of these videos will get a little bit more upbeat at some point, and a little bit more channeled messages and interesting stuff again at some point, but this is just the reality of my life right now. Feeling the waves in my way home. Anyways, looking forward to be landed somewhere, because I am dying to like get some juices in, be grounded and get my practice really strong again, and just like come back to my center, to my bliss. But just riding the waves, you know, like trying to do my best to not get attached to how I'm used to feeling, and just embracing what is right now, embracing the exhaustion, embracing the wacky energies I'm feeling, embracing like what I see when I look in my eyes and my face, just being like, whoa, and just holding space for it the best I can. Anyways, chat soon. Bye.